and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. We've been talking that it was confirmed that nobility in faith, that nobility is in faith as it follows the book of Allah and the guidance of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And none will gain this nobility except who Allah bestow on him this nobility and this honor. So those who honored with nobility are honored by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who serve him, serve Allah, serve his cause. This is what the scholar mentioned and reiterated. And whoever sincerely follow the guidance of Allah and the straight path, he prayed his 5 prayer, and he was among those who attend the mosque and the people who serve the mosque in humility and paid his zakat to cleanse his money and himself, and he ordered good and forbid evil, and never left an area of worship or ritual toward Allah unless he actually fulfill it in the proper time. And an honor can be ascending in a ladder, that some would be more honored than others. So the one who in prayer, for example, the one who attend prayer in advance or come waiting for prayer in a higher place than the one who come afterward. So the minute the time for prayer came and the call for prayer was announced, then it is time to respond to this call and to respond to the call for prayer. And the Imam is saying, if there is a fire or somebody was about to suffer a burn and the call for prayer came, which will be the most honorable to do at the time? Definitely is to save the person who needs help or he needs assistance. So the noble deed is the most deserving at the time, and the most deserving at the moment to give what it deserve of attention at the proper time and the proper moment. So the person who fulfill righteousness in the right time, in the right moment, will bring the correctness to his deed and the fulfillment of goodness of his deed. And this is the honorable who is wise to be able to fulfill whatever he is commanded and to respond to whatever is needed at the proper time. So, my dear brother and sister, now we know that the Riyah Allah is only an extension of faith, and the one who deserves this high status is the one who is blessed to be in the service of his Creator. It is the one who is blessed to walk in the avenue of obedience and truthfulness in his worship to his Creator. It is the one who prays his mandatory prayer, adhere to them and preserve them. It is the one who attend prayer in the mosque and service the house of Allah in humility and humbleness. It is the one who fulfill his mandatory zakah willingly and order good and forbid evil. It is the one who never overlook relying on Allah and worship Him with no shortcoming, laziness, or hesitation. Whoever enjoy all these virtues is the one who owns the real honor, goodness, and respect, admiration, and the real nobility. To confirm all of this, it was narrated by Al-Hakim and Al-Tabarani on the authority of Sahl ibn Sa'd, may God be pleased with him, that he said, the angel Gabriel came to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and said, "O Muhammad, live as much as you want. You are going to die." Here is the angel Gabriel talking to Prophet Muhammad, "O Muhammad, live as much as you want. You are going to die. And do what you want. You will be judged for what you do. And love whoever you want. You will part with him. And know that the honor of the believer is to pray at night while people are asleep, and his treasure is not to need people, and his treasure is not to be seeking people for anything." So yes, my dear brothers and sisters, the real honor of the believer is what he is standing, when he is standing in the most honorable occurrence in the middle of the night with a clear mind in front of his Lord, in humility, seeking his protection, help, and forgiveness. Therefore, he gains acceptance, enjoy riches, nobility, and gains the eternal honor. Standing in front of Allah is the most honorable of state that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, chose for himself, regardless of all his responsibility as a prophet. He used to pray until his legs becomes swollen. So again, the hadith that the angel Gabriel told the prophets, "O Muhammad, live as much as you want. You are going to die. And do what you want. You will be judged for what you do. And love whoever you want. You will part with him. And know that the honor of the believer is to pray at night while people are asleep, and his treasure is not to need people." So this is where honor is, standing in the presence of Allah in the middle of the night with clear conscience and clear mind. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, used to stand in prayer to the point that his leg would be swollen. And the Prophet also guards the servant of Allah, the Prophet's guard and servant, Ruhaib ibn Malik al-Salami, said, may God be pleased with him, asked the Prophet to guide him to a deed to make him reach the honor of accompanying him in heaven. Here is a companion asking the Prophet for a deed to enable him, to honor him, of accompanying the Prophet in heaven. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, show him the way to accomplish and earn that honor. So very clear question from the Prophet guard and servant Rahib Rubaya ibn Malik al-Salami. He actually asked the Prophet clear question about a deed or to honor him, to accompany the Prophet in heaven. So the Prophet, peace be upon him, actually responded and showed the way to accomplish and earn that honor, as it was narrated by Sahih Muslim on the authority of Rubayah, may God be pleased with him, that he said, the Prophet said to me, "Ask anything you want, The Prophet said to him, ask anything you want. I said, I ask to accompany you, O Prophet of Allah, in heaven. The Prophet responded, anything else other than that? I said, this is what I want. The Prophet responded, I will pray for you, but I will pray for you, but help yourself as much as you can with prostration. So that is the place of honor. That is the place of nobility. That is the place that will make you reach an honorable place, accompanying the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, accompanying the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in heaven, which is to help himself with prostration. Now that's a very clear guidance, a very clear hadith with what deed that can make him accompanying him in heaven. And the Prophet could always say or supplicate to he can actually supplicate very easy for his servant and his guard to say, oh Allah, make Rubayya ibn Malik accompany in heaven. He can be very easily said that, but the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, responded, I will pray for you, but help yourself as much as you can with prostration. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was giving the clear command, the road to heaven, the road to accomplish the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is to actually help himself with as much prostration as possible. So the most honorable and the most asked question to the Prophet is to reach heaven and to accompany him in heaven, and the answer was very clear and very easy. It is in prayer. That honor, that destination will always be accomplished by or through prayer and through standing in prayer. So the scholar said about this hadith, when the Prophet was asked about the most honorable of a request, he guided all of us to the most honorable deed, which is prayer. And that is the most honorable deed, and that is prayer. So that is the best honorable deed, which will get you to the most honorable place and the most eternal comfort in heaven, inshallah. So when you ask for the most honorable place, you have to perform the most honorable indeed. The most honorable deed or the most honorable act with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This talk is for all of us. The Prophet always give an answer that is actually benefit and serve all of us at all time and any place. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is among us right now, as we say that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said so and so. And in the Quran it was said, a verse that can be translated, that know that among you is the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So my dear brother and sister, we all servant of Allah, and the servant does not deserve or gain any honor unless he enjoy the blessing and mercy of his master. The acceptance of the master will not be materialized unless the servant stay obedient, truthful, and performing his worship in the best of way. So before we end, we need to know that honor is in piety. Your honor as a human being is in piety, in being mindful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then the honor of knowledge and the honor the third honor is the honor of praying at night while people are asleep. And next inshallah, we will talk about the fourth corner of attaining this honor and this nobility with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah make us among those who are honorable and those who perform their worship in the best of ways.